Hello, hello, BluBerryGamer here, and today I'm going to talk about single-player co-op. And at first that might seem like a contradiction of sorts. Cooperation kind of implies that there's two or more people working together. How can you have single-player co-op? And the way that that's created is developers will, in their games, they'll include a way that time can be manipulated to create multiple layers, and therefore multiple layers of time, and therefore multiple instances of yourself occurring simultaneously. And there's 3 examples I can think of that have played with this idea. One being Braid, which has each world in Braid had a bunch of different ways that you can manipulate time, but there's one world in particular where you could interact with your past self. You could rewind time and then time would play forward again with you as you, your current self, as well as your past self replaying what it had just done. And you could work together with your past self to solve various puzzles and things. Another game that touched base on that is a flash game called Cursor 10, and in that you're trying to get to the 16th floor of some building, and there's little things that you have to unlock along the way, and each cursor, you have 10 cursors or 10 like lives or selves, and each level you're kind of using your past selves to get the earlier tasks done, so you can skip those tasks and move on to the next task to do in order to get to the higher levels and to complete it. So yeah, you're working together. You're kind of planning ahead for what your current self needs to do, so your future self can get to the next thing, and then remembering what your past selves have done in order to do the next thing. I don't know, it's a fun game. And then my personal favorite of the 3 is another game called The Company of Myself, and which is the story of this hermit, and it kind of goes into his psychology and his thoughts and views on the world as you kind of solve these puzzles. And you can, similar to the other ones, you can press a button that will like restart your life, but then your past self will play forward of what you just did, and then you can interact with that self in order to, the same idea. You build on the past, but simultaneously in order to progress. And it's really interesting because puzzle co-op is my favorite genre of game. Like, if given a choice, I will always prefer to play a game with someone else than to play alone, just because it's so much more is happening when you're playing with another person. There's your own reactions and your feelings, but then there's their reactions and their feelings. So their interaction with the game, your interaction with the game, and then your interaction with each other because of what's happening in the game. It's just a much richer experience, and there's just all this enhancement of your own experience too. It's just better. Anyways, but what's interesting about the single-player co-op is that you're kind of getting a little bit of a taste of that, because even though it is yourself, there's this disconnect. It's an interesting, like, both ways thing, because there's a disconnect between you and this shadow version of you, because the shadow version of you is not you, it's a past you, which technically isn't you, because it's like, well, this isn't like a philosophy, but like, at any given point in time, you are a different person than who you were and who you will be. It's kind of like how I see it. So it's like, you can interact with this past self, like completely understand them, but at the same time still feel separate from them. And so I don't know, again, it gives me kind of like a fuller experience in a way. And I think what's important is to have that visual stimuli, so you see that shadow version of yourself at the same time as you see the full flesh version of yourself working together. And it's It's really interesting. I'm wondering if there's like, I haven't seen this, but I don't even know how this would work, but maybe not a visual thing, but like an auditory thing, something with a voice, or I don't know. I feel like this is an interesting genre that hasn't been, it's been explored a little bit, but I feel like there's a lot more that could happen or be played with that. So if you guys know, if you know any other games like these, please share. I'm very curious. But yeah, I don't know. Just a fun topic, fun genre. All three of those games I recommend. Most of you probably played Braid, that's like huge. But Cursor 10, and then as well as The Company of Myself, also very excellent games. But yeah, until next time, Blueberry out. Okay, bye you guys.